Most junk removal gurus will tell you to buy a $40,000 dump truck, hire a crew, and run Facebook ads.
And we did the complete opposite, and we made $240,000 in our first year.
The old method of starting a junk removal business is designed to keep you in debt and struggling. These gurus are selling you courses while they're making money off of you and not junk removal.
They want you to think you need all this expensive equipment and overhead before you even book your first job. That's how they keep you dependent on their coaching program.
But there's a new method for 2025 that actually works, and it doesn't require you to go into debt or quit your job on day one.
In this video, we're breaking down exactly how we started with almost nothing and scaled to over $30,000 months. No fancy trucks, no big crew, just us and a game plan.
And if you're serious about starting a junk removal business without getting scammed by some guru who's never actually hauled junk, this is going to change everything for you.
But there's one thing we wish someone told us before we started that would have saved us $9,000 on a single job.
So if you want the real, unfiltered truth about starting a junk removal company, not some polished bullshit course, stick around. We're about to show you exactly what works. Compared to opening a franchise or a store, how much cash did we actually need to get this thing off the ground?
I think all in all, in the first, let's just say 30 days, we spent about $1,000. But the very first job that we acquired, we didn't really spend any money, maybe like 15, 20 bucks.
Yeah.
So you don't need a bunch of capital to get it off the ground. Did we have to chase down invoices for weeks, or was the money basically in our pocket the same day?
Sometimes the money was in our pocket before the job was done.
Yeah.
But that's just because we needed deposits at the time. But yeah, I mean, we always get our money immediately. And did we need to spend months getting special certifications, or were we able to just start working?
Yeah, we were able to work right away. Guys, you have to check your local state and city areas. Depending on where you live, you should be able to get started pretty much right away. So be real, does the demand for junk removal ever actually stop regardless of the economy?
I mean, not really. People always need junk removed from their homes. People always have junk in their homes. This one's a good question. Did we have to risk it all and quit our jobs like from the very beginning, or were we able to just test it out at first?
I would say we kind of put ourselves in the sink or swim situation. We didn't have to quit our jobs, but the first couple of jobs that we came in, or leads that came in, required us to go when we would have been working our jobs. And basically my old 9-to-5 gave me an ultimatum, like, hey, you're either going to work here or you're not. So we kind of jumped in. But if you guys are smart and you are willing to take it the slow route, you could just do it on weekends, which probably would have been smarter on us in the beginning. Out of all the flashy business ideas we looked at, why did we choose junk removal out of everything else?
I mean, honestly, we didn't have money. So junk removal is very easy to start without money. Like, you don't necessarily need all this money as if you were doing what? Landscaping? No, landscaping doesn't really
landscaping, pressure washing, any of the other.
We didn't need any fancy tools. So why did we decide to start renting U-Hauls instead of going into debt and buying a truck and trailer?
We just had no idea if it was going to work or not. So it doesn't make sense to try to add to the pile, especially if we had no idea if we were able to make it a sustainable business. Don't build a business to chase payments. Like, that doesn't make sense. If you want to be financially free, you do everything to the best of your ability with the tools that you have. That's it. So did we even need to really own a truck to land our first client?
No, you don't need any vehicle to land a client, but to complete the job, no, we didn't need our own truck. We used like a van style U-Haul, and it just got the job done. Looking back now, how much risk did we actually eliminate by paying for the U-Haul only after having already gotten the job?
I would say a majority of the risk, right? I think people get this really confused. They're like, oh, I'm going to rent a U-Haul and then go find the work. No, Find the work first, then rent the U-Haul. And when you do that, you have to rent the U-Haul that's closest to the job, and make sure that it's not crazy mileage to the landfill and all these other extra steps. So we eliminated a lot of risk by doing that. When we finally ditched the rentals and bought our own trailer, why is the 7x14 the absolute sweet spot for the business?
I mean, we had a smaller trailer than that beforehand, but it wasn't big enough. If you're gonna spend the money, I would spend it on something that's going to allow you to do more jobs and save you more money by not having to dump every single job. You can stack 3-4 jobs.
Since we were returning the truck every day, what were the basic tools that we needed to bring with us to make sure that the work was actually possible?
I mean, there wasn't something that we had to bring with us for every specific job. We always tried to get details of the job so we knew if we had to like bring a dolly or rent a dolly or anything else, like moving blankets. We always knew what the job was going to be so that we knew what to bring with us. So what's one piece of expensive gear that rookies rush to buy that we realize you don't absolutely need in the beginning?
It's almost always the trailer, I feel like, or a truck. It's never like one piece of equipment like a dolly, sawzall, or anything. Like all the small hand tools, they're not crazy expensive and they will always be useful. But man, some of the truck payments I've heard from you guys and trailer payments, it's just absolutely unnecessary. You have to do what's in your means. So don't spend that money until you know how to get jobs, sell the jobs, and have some cash flow. Was there like a specific time or memory where you're like, okay, we're not renting U-Hauls anymore, we need to buy a truck?
No, not really. I don't think anything terrible ever happened to us. Like, I feel like our U-Haul route was very smooth, but we didn't want to have to like keep spending our money and like letting our profit go just because we were having to rent something. What was the exact process we used to spy on our local competition and figure out the market rate?
We didn't really do that. We didn't really do local research. We kind of did it national research, I would say, and just started learning the pricing game online. We most recently called 1-800 to get a lock on their pricing, and we were already like in that ballpark range. So my suggestion is call one of the major franchises, tell them that you're a prior customer, and just ask what their full load rate is and how many cubic yards that covers. And just side note, guys, don't be an a-hole. Don't click on something that says sponsored on Google that spends the company's budget. Don't do that. That's a bad move. But you can go down to their SEO link and call them from there.
And why is it dangerous to just copy and paste like somebody that's in a big city, their price sheet, if you're working in like a small city?
Well, you're just not going to land jobs and you're going to wonder why. And the reality is that you didn't do any market research. Now, obviously it's a little, what's the word? It's bad for me to say that after I just said that I didn't do my market research, but like this this video is to help you avoid the same mistake. So just understand that like there's not a national average price for a trailer. So you're going to be working off of your market, and, you know, reach out to some guys in your area. Some of them will tell you to F off, but one of them is bound to help you. All right. To give people a real baseline, what is the average price per cubic yard we shoot for our specific market right now?
For ours, it's 55. We usually recommend anywhere from like 35 to 60. Just depends once you actually do the research for it. Why did we have to set a specific like minimum price pickup?
Well, because it costs money for us to leave the house, and it's time and money, and it's a slot that's going to be taken up. It's room that's going to be taken up in your trailer. So there has to be a standard fee. That's just the way that it is. And it's really hard to understand that when you're first starting out. Like for us, it's like it was easy to be flexible, but now...
Yeah, I mean, there's people that will be like, oh, I just have one chair. And like you want to say like, okay, $35, but then you're just losing money having to drive there and like wasting your gas, your actual, like the wear and tear on your vehicle.
Yeah. Just put it in this perspective, guys. If you have an employee that cost 18, let's just do $20 an hour because it's easy math, right? Yeah. And it takes them an hour total to complete that job. That's $20 spent just for the employee. Yeah. That doesn't cover their insurance. It doesn't cover their taxes. It doesn't cover the fuel. It doesn't cover your insurance for the business. There's a lot of fees that go into it. So we have to set a minimum price, and that's why. Why is the phrase, I'll beat any price, actually the fastest way to go broke in this business?
The customer is always going to come back with this like smaller price, with a lower price, and you're going to keep wanting to accommodate them, and then you're just going to end up losing money again, and you're setting like that expectation for your company as well. Yeah,
you don't have to be married to your prices, guys, but there are specific situations where you can't haggle all the time. bottom line, don't do $300 jobs for $100 or $50
Yeah.
or $20.
Now this sounds backwards, but why do we often make more profit off of like 3 small curbside pickups than a big job?
I'm going to tell you guys first and foremost, and you will learn this, okay? If you've never had a big job, you're going to lust for it like no other, okay? You're going to be like, oh, I want that big job. I promise you, you're going to hate every second of it. The 3 small pickups, it's just easy in and out. Typically, you can do like, let's say a quarter trailer 4 times in a day, and that really only is like 2 or 3 hours total, plus the drive time and the dump time.
Yeah.
But you do $1,000 with like 2 hours of work.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do a full trailer, maybe you're doing 650 or 700, but that might take 2 hours or 3 hours.
And you need help.
And
then
you
have
need
to
help.
pay help.
And you have to pay help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and for us, like a 2-man crew, we can, depending on the job, we can do a full trailer in 90 minutes, but they're just physically exhausting and they're not fun. So
It's not fun having like 3, 4 back to back if you're the one doing it and you don't have like different people doing the different jobs.
also, side note, when we talk about big jobs, we also talk more on like the 2 trailers, the 3 trailers, the 4 trailers. Jobs that take literally like 12 hours in a day, they suck.
And they always end up requiring more than you expected them to.
Yeah, so you don't make as much money as you think you're going to. So that's why.
Do you remember any specific job where we quoted way too low and we basically paid the customer to pick up their junk?
Yeah, I mean, we've had plenty, guys. We've done probably like 600-700 jobs by this point, and I would say maybe 50 of them we've probably been at that point. The most recent one was a fridge that we did, and that fridge we did for $75.
Yeah.
Should have been like 150, 200.
Yeah.
And then
That thing was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long walkway inside the house, but then the outside was like a hill too.
and the door, and it didn't fit through the door. It was a huge fridge. But not only that, we also ended up scratching a wall. So she wanted to negotiate the $75, which I was just like, at this point, I don't even care if you pay. Like, just don't even worry about it. Sorry about your wall. Have a great rest of your day. Because that customer also stole $600 cash out of my wallet. So that was a terrible time. It happens. You guys are going to lose sometimes, okay? But do not be afraid of underquoting jobs, because that is how you learn. And you will do it. I don't care who you are and how good you think you are. You will underquote jobs all the time. It's okay.
When it comes to social media, what specific type of post actually made our phone ring? Was it like photos? What was it?
Yeah, it wasn't until we filmed an actual ad on Instagram, and you guys can go back to our Instagram and check that out. We posted it December of 2024, and basically it was just like, hey, if you're a resident of this area, you know that junk removal shouldn't be this, this, and this. And then we kind of go into explaining who we are and what we do, and if they're interested in that type of content, to follow us. And that just helped us bring in leads, because we were doing what?
I mean, we were just posting pictures, but the biggest thing was like, you have to let people get to know you and what you do. Like before, we had like 100 followers, a little over that, but half of them were our friends, so that didn't even live anywhere around here. So how are we gonna get work?
Yeah, guys, you have to soft sell on social media. That's what it is. Don't shove your service down people's throats. Okay, so aside from posting online, which specific local business did we partner with to get some steady referral leads?
A lot of moving companies. We have a lot of moving company friends, mover friends, and also like contractors.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Sam at Common Sense, Matthew at Limestone, and Nick at Butter Brothers.
We ran paid ads for a bit, but why did we eventually turn them off and focus entirely on organic growth?
Yeah, just they get expensive, right? And oftentimes when you're in the thick of momentum, you have to follow what works and cut off what doesn't.
Now, everyone talks about SEO, but at what point in our journey did it actually make sense for us to invest into that?
I think we started around $12,000 or $15,000 a month, and I do kind of wish we had done it a little bit sooner, but I also think that it's just hard because it is kind of expensive and it takes time.
Yeah.
SEO is the main driver of our business currently, alongside with Google Ads. So it definitely works, but finding the right company can be tough. We've spent a lot of money on Google Ads, wasted a lot of money on Google Ads and SEO. So just do your research and really look into the people you're trying to use. So why are repeat customers actually more valuable to our bottom line, which is your profit margin, than chasing new leads every single day?
Well, because we're not having to pay for them anymore. Like, we don't have to pay if they are coming through like a Google ad, for example, or any type of ad. And they're already also bought into us. Like, we're not having to make them be like, oh, I should pick this company over this company. Be real with our timeline. How many months of grinding did it take for us to actually have consistent work every week, month?
You guys want me to be completely honest with you? I think it took about 7 months. That's the truth. I think we could have done it sooner. And it really just comes down to how you define consistent, right? Because our first 6 months, we did $65,000 in revenue. But I think when I think of consistent, I think of our ability to create the work over and over again. Whereas before, it wasn't that we were just getting lucky, but like we were doing things and just trying to see what worked. How exactly did we hunt down and land that first paying customer?
In the very beginning, I would say about 90% of our customers, they came from Thumbtack. It wasn't very sustainable for a long time, but it worked.
Once you get some momentum, it kind of carries into everything. So we relied on it for a little bit and then we got away from it. You guys can do the same thing. Watch the S tier ranking video of all the lead sources to find out what we actually think about all those lead sources. Now look, getting your first few clients is exciting, but it's also when you're going to have the most questions.
You're going to have questions like, this customer is asking for a discount. What should I say? I quoted a job, but now it looks bigger. What do I do? Should I take this job even if I'm not sure I can handle it?
These are the real-time decisions that can make or break your business, and honestly, you shouldn't be figuring them out alone.
That's why we built a free community called JT's Inner Circle. It's where real haulers help each other navigate these exact situations.
No gurus, no courses to buy, just people in the trenches sharing what's working and helping you guys avoid the mistakes that cost us thousands.
We're in there every single day. Post your questions, share your wins, and let's build this together. Link is in the description and it's completely free.
All right, now let's talk about the real monthly costs, because this is where most people get blindsided.
So in the beginning, we tried using a notebook, but how much money did we actually lose before having a good CRM?
It's almost unquantifiable, but I'm going to tell you guys that I think we would have done an extra $100,000 had we had a CRM, and I'm going to tell you why. That first 6 months, Jackie and I didn't have a CRM, and that means all those customers we never retargeted or remarketed to ever again. That's crazy. We regularly have email campaigns that bring in $6,000, $7,000 of revenue. So the fact is, it's like that 6 months, I mean, we lost a lot of revenue. So it's important. Go ahead and click the link down below to grab yourself a free trial of Jobber. So everyone knows that you need general liability. And if you didn't, you do now. But were you ready for the sticker shock of their commercial auto insurance?
Was I ready for it? No, but was I expecting it? Yes.
Yeah.
Were you?
Every major expense you guys are going to go through that becomes a new monthly expense. It sucks that first time and then you get used to it. So yeah, I mean, I didn't want to do it, but I actually felt way more at ease once we got that. So this is a great question. So if we do 3 full jobs a day, what is the real average we end up swiping at the the landfill scale house before we even get home?
Like around $200.
For 3.
Yeah,
right?
for 3.
Yeah.
Around $200. But our landfill is like relatively cheap compared to a lot of other landfills. So
yeah,
don't hold that up against
yeah,
me.
don't hold us. Yeah, like you have to do your own local research. There are some places where landfill stops are expensive. Our average on a $20,000 month is like $900 to $1,100. So that just gives you a ballpark range.
Yeah, every time we go to the landfill, it costs us anywhere from like 68 to, it's usually around 68 to 85. Sometimes it's more expensive, but it's usually around that much. So We calculated gas mileage for driving to jobs, but did we account for how much fuel like the vehicle burns while it's loaded down?
No, I think it's one of those things that you might stress about it in the beginning, and then somewhere in the middle, you kind of just get used to paying for the fuel all the time. And then I believe once we're at like 2 to 3 operating trucks, it's probably going to be an expense that we try to keep down. But
It's not that you get used to it. It's like you know what that average is now.
well, I mean, what are you supposed to do? You're just not going to put
Yeah.
gas in your truck. Like,
Yeah.
it's got to happen. Like,
It's like when you go fill up your personal vehicle, you know it's going to cost you this much, so it's like okay, you start knowing what it's going to cost you.
yeah. So, and fuel, if you guys are curious, the cost is about the same as our landfill fees. So, if our landfill fees are $900, our gas is probably about $900. So,
Beyond the big bills, what are the annoying little monthly costs that slowly eat away at our margins?
I don't know, what are they?
Like our domain, maybe. It's just like little things you don't think about.
Yeah, we use ChatGPT, our GoDaddy, gas station stops for energy drinks,
CapCut.
CapCut. That's it. It's nothing crazy, guys, but those little things. So after we paid the dump fees, the gas, the insurance, and taxes, what percentage of our $10,000 revenue months did we actually get to put in our personal bank account?
When we were making around $10,000, we were keeping about 50% of that, so around $5,000. But that was after all of the expenses in our business, not just like fuel and dump fees.
Yeah, so not too bad.
This is a good question. Why does buying a second truck not just double your revenue, but actually triple your headache and overhead costs?
Yeah, it doesn't double your revenue. It does just triple your headaches and overhead costs, because now you have to find a way to keep that truck busy.
Yeah.
Right? And we're not there yet, right? We have a plan to get there, and we tried to do that over summer, but what ended up happening is we just had to sub out a lot of work. It's adding an extra crew, an extra variable to all of your business. The
Yeah.
easiest time to own a junk removal company is when you're an owner operator doing about $10,000 a month. That is like the easiest time in junk removal. I believe anything over that, there becomes a lot of actual day-to-day work and a lot of maintenance and a lot of just everything.
Yeah, and also like if your one truck is making, let's say 20K, so it's easy, then if you get a second one, you'd be like, oh, now they're both gonna make 20K. But the reality is like if you don't have enough for both trucks, you're only gonna make like 10 and 10, and then you end up making the same.
Yeah, it doesn't just work like that, and it actually takes a lot of planning, preparation, and effort, and then on top of that, capital. So just keep that in mind.
Do you remember the 1 month in winter where we worked every single day but somehow still ended up with a $0 profit?
Yes, and we actually ended up with a negative like $500 or $500 a profit.
What went wrong?
Well, we didn't work every day. We worked every day for 2 weeks, and then the other 2 weeks we tried to take off for other things. We thought that we had built the business to a point where we could do that, and we didn't really realize how much momentum we would lose when we weren't actively working on the business. Part of that reason is because we were so focused on like organic and referrals, and we weren't doing a lot of paid advertising at the time. So that just killed our momentum. Why is rushing out to finance a brand new truck before you have a steady route of business the fastest way to go out of business?
I mean, like we mentioned in the beginning, if you don't even know if it's going to work or if it's something that you actually want to do, like I think business is harder than a lot of people make it seem too, and not everybody is meant to do it. So if you don't even know that it's something that you actually want to do or that you will
Enjoy.
yeah, like you're just putting yourself into debt, and if your regular job or whatever other job you go get doesn't cover that, then you're like stuck with that debt.
Do not go in debt to start a business. It doesn't make sense.
We all want to go full time, but why is quitting your day job before you hit consistent revenue numbers such a massive trap?
It's a massive trap because you could be doing this on weekends, and what you're going to tell yourself is that if I'm not working at my 9 to 5, I could be working on the business. But I promise you, if you can't even figure out how to get customers on being able to do that during the weekday is not going to change that. That's why it's such a massive trap. How easy is it to accidentally build up monthly overhead like storage units or shop space that kind of eats you alive when the slow season does hit?
I think that it's easy to not think about like the slow season, but I feel like humans just want things that make their life easier, even if they don't necessarily need it in the moment. So it's easy for like us, for example, to just be like, oh, let's go have 2 office spaces because we need somebody over here and like over here. But in reality, we could have like one in the middle. And it's just things that people don't think about just because it makes people's life easier.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Doing anything because it's easy in business is going to be it's going to be the death of you. Like doing the easy route always screws you in the long run. So
in the beginning, we thought we were making money, but how much money were we actually bleeding because we weren't tracking everything?
A good bit. I wouldn't say we did terrible in the beginning. It's just like we had talked about in the previous question, it is easy for things to start piling on and like, bringing on memberships for this and for that are supposed to help you in business, but maybe you just don't know how to navigate them yet. So you have to track everything. Use something like QuickBooks where you're actually looking at your money. One of the things with business, I think, is that you can't act like a consumer. Like if you've grown up your entire life being a consumer, it's really hard to break that habit, but it is something that you have to break because we have to be very specific. When they say that the saying is like, it's just business, that's what they're talking about. Like, hey, listen, it's just business. Like, I have to do this. I can't afford this. I can't do that today. That's it. Why is learning to say no to massive jobs we aren't equipped for actually more profitable than saying yes?
Well, because if you show up and you tell them yes, and then you're like, oh, we have to figure out how to do it, and you already gave them a price for it, and then you go sit down and try to figure out how to do it, and it's going to cost you twice as much than what you even requested making off of it, then like you're losing 3 times as much basically. Like
also, what happens when you make a mistake on the job?
It costs you a lot of money too.
Yeah, believe us when we say, if you guys focus on small quarter load pickups, curbside pickups, your life will be so easy.
Do you remember that big demo we did?
Yes, I remember.
So walk us through it. How did it go?
So remember how we said big jobs aren't all they're cracked up to be? Well, this job we bid for $16,000. It cost me $11,000 out of our bank account before we ever got paid. And we waited for that paycheck for a month. So it was a big job. It was way bigger than anything we had ever done before. It took way more time. It was way more expensive. And it was straight up not a good time. Yeah. So it cost us a lot of money and heartache.